Hey, everybody. I'm in the midst of what feels like a total crazy science fiction movie. I just discovered that on my hashtag Patrick Lovell and Truth Bombs the Con, that it increased literally by 300,000 views in the last couple of days. One of our TikTok messages went viral a couple of days ago, and it, I think, got over 70,000 views in a very short period of time, and just a hornet's nest of comments. And TikTok took it down. We're scratching our heads as to why that might be, but again, what I'm telling you is really the ultimate truth that the entire system cannot have you understand. And so it was just extraordinary to me in a couple of different ways. I'm looking at these extraordinary numbers on TikTok, and they don't necessarily translate, in fact, not even remotely, to Facebook. Now I've got like nearly 5,000 followers and everything else, but it's obviously not 2016 on Facebook, and they got a hold of that. And in Facebook and maybe Twitter to a certain extent, in contrast to TikTok, it's amazing how the message can be contained and controlled. And I was like thinking about this, and I put on a post, and I'll ask you guys this at the same time. I put two pictures on my Facebook today, and I just asked this question. I put a picture of Jerome Powell and Larry Fink, and I said, A, do you know who these two men are? And B, are they on the midterm ballot? Why or why not? And nobody's answered yet, but I can tell you it's the intersection of the reason why Federal Reserve Act 13.3 was used illegally. And of course, it's the shadow government that controls everything at your demise. And it's not funny because it's destroyed millions upon millions of people in the middle class while insanely enriching the top maybe 0.001% because of the nature of this policy and how it works. And it's absolutely an abomination. And it was interesting because I was looking at really, what's important to people going into the midterms. And I'll just read it out to you. Not surprisingly, number one is the economy. Number two is abortion. I find that interesting, all things considered. Still not exactly sure how a Democratic win in the House, even though I hope that happens, but is going to somehow do a presidential mandate in every state. Still not sure on the law of all that. But then, of course, and justifiably so, Russia's invasion of Ukraine and what could be coming next. Then gun policy, immigration, coronavirus, and education. All extremely important matters and urgent matters, but really at the apex of it all, it's what I'm telling you. And so interestingly enough, and you can't make this stuff up in this Orwellian universe, Ben Bernanke, the former chair of the Federal Reserve, was given a Nobel laureate yesterday or on Monday, and for his work and what intersects and what is exactly what I'm telling you. And it's insanity. And Nobel laureate economist as well, Paul Krugman, who writes for the New York Times and is kind of, depending on what circles you're in, is kind of a meme of the system. But he wrote an article in kind of, celebrating what Ben Bernanke did. But I can't believe this because I got printed in the New York Times this morning, and I said, you honestly can't make this stuff up. Where in the Federal Reserve Act does it say that the Fed can be the lender of last resort for bankrupt shadow banks that got that way because of insane fraud? The collateral was sawdust. We gave trillions to a crime syndicate, and it never stopped. Federal Reserve Act 13.3 was used illegally, Mr. Krugman. Do you really not know this? The New York Times printed that. But they're not going to put that on the front page and reveal everything that I've referred to you in the con at www.thecon.tv and everything what we've done on TikTok. Look, there is a massive Borg behind the scene preventing me from getting this truth to the millions upon millions of people that need to hear it. You have to share this. You have to understand what I've done. It's all in the con at www.thecon.tv. We've got this other fantastic podcast called The New Untouchables. You put those two things together and you find out what the foam on the runway was for the crashing financial system, that the entirety of this system, most particularly media, has betrayed us by not telling us the story. This is why I had to go do this, and this is why I'm the only guy in the country that can actually frame this soup to nuts in a way that the millions of you will understand. It's pure theft. It's pure theft by deception, and it broke every law and regulation and, really the integrity of the United States, the ideology, everything that we celebrate that we're supposed to be are. It's an abomination. And that's why these things are being targeted by social media. Because I'm dangerous, because I'm telling the truth in this sea of lies that have hidden this stuff. And finally, a lot of you, and this is the reason why, the TikTok video that went viral last week about, our march and what we're doing and everything else, that got over 70,000 views in a very short period of time. And if I didn't mention this at the outset, I've literally gotten over 7 million views. I just found out that one of my hashtags increased over 300,000 views over the course of the last couple of days. So this is incredible. And if you compare that to some of the other social platforms and what's going on behind the scenes with big tech and everything else, I'm being obscured. I'm being canceled. I'm being whatever. And here it's starting to find its way, but at the same time, not large enough. I need to get people on YouTube at Patrick Lovell Truth Bombs the Con. But finally, everybody out there has been asking, dude, don't do this. It's a setup. It's this. It's that. You go, it's going to blow up. It's civil war. Whatever. It's just craziness. So what we've decided to do is make it easy for you. We're going to provide a link to an online rally in which everything that's taking place in DC will also be simulcast, and a platform where I will invite some of the most knowledgeable people in this perspective, and I'm going to bring you truths that are more than just me telling them to you, but directly from the sources and the experts, in addition to the victims of this madness who were the foam on the runway. And we want you to participate. There's literally tens of thousands of you who have been paying attention. Spread the word. Tell everybody that you know that the truth is marching and that the emperor wears no clothes. And this cat, Patrick Lovell, has the truth that everybody in this system, particularly media and our government, have hid from you, the American people. Federal Reserve Act 13.3 was used illegally. You're going to understand what that means, how it works in the context of everything that we are right now, so we can elevate the truth above the cacophony of lies. The American people have got to get control of our government, a government of, by, and for the people. It is not accountable to us. It is accountable to those who can manipulate it in the shadows, pay for it, and basically bury the rest of us. That is unacceptable, and it's un-American, and it's unpatriotic to stand for this. Join us.